So I'm building one of my already tillered bamboo horsebow kits that you can turn into a takedown bow, by the way. They come already tillered, as I said, ready to shoot. All you have to do is glue them back up in this process that I'm showing here. You can use a hot melt glue gun, but it needs to be pretty high heat to give you enough working time. So now I'm gonna get this Sia on here to where it's properly aligned in the limb. You wanna use your dominant eye when you're looking down the limb. You're gonna sight down the limb and you're gonna make sure the Sia is coming out, sticking straight up, perpendicular to the limb. And you can see I have alignment marks. So I'll have alignment marks all over the product for you, where I built it first and then took it apart to kind of ease in your reassembly, okay? It comes with the glue stick that you'll need to use, and I have lots of other video instructions on this, but I'm giving you instructions right now. So you can turn these into a takedown bow, where one limb folds, it's just wrapped with jute cord or leather. You take that down and then you can fold that limb down. Your kit will come with some glue already dried on there. Make sure you reheat that glue back up or scrape it off with a pocket knife before you apply new glue. And this is the best method to do it. You want to do the big parts first, so do the limb first, then do the corresponding Sia, because you can set the limb across your lap safely while you put glue on the Sia. And then make sure you have even pressure. You'll notice that my fingers are really close to the joint so I can control it good. And you want to hold that for a minute or so until you feel it setting up, and then you can start to check for its alignment. Again, using your dominant eye, and that looks perfect. I'll set this down, and I'm gonna go back to this one because this one's set up now, and I'm gonna glue it onto the handle. So these will be all marked A and B, and like I said, alignment marks to help ease your reassembly. And that's gonna be B and B right there. Always go with the bigger part first. That would be the limb. And on this one, you put a long bead of glue along both edges. This was B, so I'm gonna make sure I use B. I gotta reheat that glue. Again, if you're afraid of using one of these propane torches, no big deal. Just get yourself a really good high heat glue gun. And then place this down, paying attention to the alignment marks that are made on there for you, and even pressure. So some of you might be thinking, wow, hot melt glue for a bow? Yeah, that's what I thought too, but I've gone through every type of glue you can imagine. And I explain this quite well on my YouTube channel, on this channel, in many other videos. This bow is actually, this is the kit that I put out probably more than 10 years ago now. And I've sold thousands of them, and there's probably thousands still out there hunting wild game right now. You can check my website for all the testimonials of archers and hunters that have bought these and built them themselves and went out and hunted the same day with them, because they come ready to shoot out of the box. All right, so that's good. I'm just gonna give it one more minute. So on this hot melt glue, the great thing about it is the very first bows that I made in this style, composite style, I used hide glue, animal hide glue, and sinew. But to sell this in a kit, that would be nearly impossible for first timers, or really anyone, to go ahead and do that in just a short period of time. It takes a lot of meticulous work, working with hide glue to glue things up. So with the hot melt, you have room for error. It's gap filling. And if you mess up and glue one of these on crooked, you can take it off with some heat and do it again. You can't do that with epoxy. You can't do that with any other type of wood glue. They're pretty much permanent. You have to cut it off and start over and most likely ruin one of the parts. So this has been tested, like I said, for more than 10 years in thousands of bows. My hunting bow that is just like this is glued up this way and with the same industrial strength hot melt, and it's probably has 30,000 arrows shot through it and lots of large game hunted with it. All right, we're gonna move on to the next limb now. That should be long enough. Again, you gotta reheat the old glue so you can add to it. And if there's a lot on there, you don't have to add that much. Like in this case, that's fine. I'm just getting that hot enough, and then I'm gonna add some to this guy. I like warming up the parts a little bit. Don't cook your bamboo. You'll turn it into a cracker, and then it's no good. But warm it up, because if you're in a colder environment, you're gonna wanna warm it up so the glue has a little more working time before it sets up. The colder it is, the faster this hot melt is gonna set up, which means the less time you have to make adjustments. Get it set up with your alignment marks, and you guys should be able to see the bow coming alive right now. And as soon as I can take my hands off it, I'll be able to look at it and see if both of the recurve tips, static tips, are aligned with each other. Okay, so the bow wrap, what comes with this kit, the glue up already tillered kit, is you'll get a pouch of bow wrap material. It's basically fiberglass with an adhesive in it, and you'll get a glue stick like you saw me using, and you'll get all the parts for the bow, and you'll get the bowstring. So the bow wrap, if you want a solid bow, you'll basically fiberglass wrap the entire handle area and both of these unions right here where the static tips glue to the limbs. And then it's going to be a solid permanent bow. If you want it to be a takedown bow, you'll glue up one of the limbs, wrap it, and then the other one will be in a folding, hinging fashion. Cleanup. So before you wrap this, my suggestion is to get off all the globs of glue. You can do any finish sanding work you want. Just know that if you do a lot of sanding on the limbs, it's going to change, it could possibly change the tiller and definitely the draw weight of the bow. You can thin out and clean up and round off your SIAs as much as you want. Definitely pay some attention inside the string grooves so you don't cut your brand new string. You can round off these edges. You can take off any pencil marks you want that are not going to be covered and make it fit your hand. We make it kind of small, but it might not be small enough, especially if you're going to do an overwrap like a leather or jute or anything that you might have in mind. That's going to add girth to the handle. All right, so I think this is ready. Now I'm going to wrap it up with a temporary wrap just to show you that it shoots. So as I said, right now I'm just doing a temporary wrap, and this is some leather thong that is actually quite strong. And believe it or not, I used to hunt with bows just glued up and wrapped like this in the past. I actually have a video that's about 10 years old showing me shooting a deer, a buck, with a bow wrapped up just like this. I'll add that into the description box below. And that bow was only about 35 pounds, I think. But I was able to harvest that deer, and then I showed a penetration test with a bow just like this. So what I'll do is I'll wrap this one up as tight as possible just so I can put a string on it and show you the end result. Now I'm gonna wrap the SIAs on. You can find this kit at meadlongbows.com. You can also find finished products. So we have several bows like this, but completely finished, decorated. They have a finish on them. They have brand new strings. They come ready to shoot out of the box as well. But you don't have to do anything to them except string them up and go hunting. We also have a do-it-yourself kit, which is a little more difficult than this, but it's a little less expensive. I also make bows from Osage and many other types of hardwood that are self bows and sinew backed. So be sure to check out the website. Let's see how this one shoots. We'll string it up now. This is a step through method, but what I prefer for these, I'll show you right now, is a modified push pull. It's a lot safer for you and the bow if you can handle it. You get in a low squat and you push and pull, and then center it on the SIAs. And as you can see, we are ready. I'm gonna do one more shot. So one of the reasons these bows are so unique is that if you break one of them, you can actually rebuild it. So essentially, it could be the same bow forever. Let me show you what I mean. Okay, so Obviously don't do that to your bow on purpose, but if you do, I've had hunters fall out of their tree stands while climbing down and literally snap a limb in half, and I've had them back in order again in about a week's time by sending them a matched limb. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use a heat gun and heat up this hot melt glue, take this limb out of here and put a new limb in, and I'll be right back. There we go. Back in business. So as you can see, these bows are pretty unique and can last literally forever if you take care of them. Enjoy this montage of seeing these types of bows being shot right now, and if you want to watch more torture testing and speed testing of these style bows, watch this video next.